I'm Dustin.
And I'm Molly.
And this is...
Reviews for Humans, Vampire Diaries.
So what happened tonight on the Vampire Diaries, Miss Molly?
Well, Lark gets arrested, accused for the murderings, and he gets thrown in the jail,
and everybody's like, why are you killing people? And he's like, I'm not killing people.
Elena Gilbert, girl detective, with her partner, Mr. Matt,
goes on the investigation.
We're gonna solve this, and we're gonna prove his innocence. So
they break into Dr. Fell's house.
Yeah.
And they find her secret room, because, you know, she's a founding family member.
So, of course, they have a
she
secret
has
room in the closet.
So they find all these things in her secret room that are like super incriminating, but then Dr. Fell finds them because you know they're not great detectives.
They're awful.
They're teenagers. Then Sheriff Forbes reads them the riot act, and they go home all dejected. But turns out Matt stole the diary that Dr. Fell had stolen, so he gave it to Elena.
That belonged to Samantha Gilbert, right?
Yes.
With Samantha Gilbert's journal.
Back in 1912.
In 1912. Meanwhile, in 1912, bowler hats and corsets.
Stefan and
Gibson girl.
And what's his name? The other one.
Damon.
Yes, thank you.
Just the love of my life is all.
Whatever. So, I'm the love of your life. How sad would that be if it turned out to be true? Just so sad, Molly. Me and you in 20 years sitting in front of this camera. I'm Dustin and I'm Molly.
Back in 1912, they're watching a boxing match, like an old-timey boxing match.
Yes, with the fisticuffs. Ho, 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 ho. But it's a lady. It's a lady boxer.
Sage.
She's boxing the
obviously a vampire.
Yeah.
And she tells Damon that women are
for the sex and
also for food. And so she teaches him how to be a man whore and to just feed on women without killing them.
Right. So he tries to
just be like a good vampire.
Right. And so he tries to teach that to Stefan. Of course, that turns Stefan into a crazy person.
He goes to teach him this in 1912, and they lure a woman, and Stefan starts to feed on him, and he's like starts growling and snarling like he does, and then he just bites her head off. And Damon's like,
and then Stefan's all like,
WTF, dude?
I'm sorry, I'll just put that back on.
He tries to put her head back on, and it's just a mess. And Stefan runs off into the night, and Damon's like, well, I guess there's that. And so we know the rest is history.
So then, back in the present, Damon tries to again teach Stefan how to not be a crazy person.
To just be a good vampire. Feed on people, keep them alive, use your powers so they don't remember it. And
so they find this chick, him and Rebecca.
Hello, Governor.
Hello.
Shall we try to eat some ladies tonight?
And Rebecca is on a super secret mission to find the other white ash tree so she can destroy it. And
hello, Governor. Let's talk about that magic tree, shall we? Are you Mayor's wife?
Yeah.
What can you tell me about that magic tree there, hey, Missy?
So that's going on in the background, and it's super stupid. And so they get this lady, and they're trying to make Stefan feed on her, and he does a good job at first, and he's like, I did it. He's covered in blood, because vampires are sloppy eaters, and no one knows why. So he's like, I fed, and I didn't kill her.
He's ridiculously sloppy, though. I mean, Damon's a little bit sloppy, the others are a little bit, but they wipe it off, they're fine. But he's like, just a child about it.
Yeah. And who should round the corner?
It's Detective Elena Gilbert and
Mr. Matt.
Mr. Matt.
And they're like, disappointment!
How dare you feed on people, vampire?
She runs off into the night, too.
I can't believe that! And Damon says something like,
oh, that happened again.
Ain't no thing, brother.
So
that happened.
Turns out, then they go back to the house, and Stefan's like, why are you trying to help me? And Damon's like, because you're all I got.
You're all I have.
And so that melts Stefan's stupid heart. And he's like, I guess we can start trying to figure out what's going on with all these murders. Meanwhile, in Elena's kitchen, her and Matt are having a Maxwell House moment. And he's like, so what's your deal with vampires? And she's like, well, after my parents died, I was looking for some immortals.
Someone who wouldn't die. I just knew, she's talking about Stefan, I just knew that he would always love me and that he wouldn't
and then Matt's like, die. And then
they're like your parents? And she's like, yes, like my parents, thank you.
At the exact same time, Stefan and Damon figure out, and Dr. Fell shows up at Elena's house.
They're talking about
Alaric and how he might, why he's the killer. And he's like, I'm not the killer. And Dr. Fell's like, you are the killer. And all at the same time, everybody figures it all out at once.
That Samantha Gilbert
had the ring that Alaric has now.
And she went crazy. And she killed several of the founding people back in the day.
And so now, because Alaric has the same ring and has been brought back to life so many times, he's going crazy. And he's the one killing people. And Elena, up reading Samantha's journal, figures it out at the exact same time that Stefan and Damon figure it out. At the same time, Dr. Fell is explaining it to Alaric, and that's where we end. When everybody's
like, oh, poor Alaric.
Well, he's getting his own show.
I know. He's very cute also.
He's getting his new show. It's called Cult, and it's going to happen next year, which means they're going to have to find a creative way to get him off of this show. And I bet this is going to be it. It's going to be explosions.
That was the episode. Now it's time for
Scene of the Week. Nom 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 nom. I'm a vampire and I'm eating this lady and I'm learning about moderation. Nom 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 nom. That's great, brother. You're doing an awesome job. Nom 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 nom.
We're a gasp.
All right. Well, that was our scene of the week.
Hope you liked it.
And so till next week. I'm Dustin.
I'm Molly.
And this has been
Reviews for Humans. Vampire Diaries.
Rah, 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 rah.